My father, Morton Brofman, was a freelance photographer based out of Washington, D.C. My father was a committed liberal Democrat and used his photography as a way to highlight political injustice and to look at humanity in a way that can help advance the dialogue and help people. My father naturally gravitated towards social issues and documenting social issues and social injustice. Everything from the civil rights movement to Native American rights, to poverty in Appalachia, to the huge protest movements that occurred in D.C. Everything came through the D.C. area. Everything came through the mall in Washington. My father got involved in the civil rights movement because of his natural passion for civil rights and equality, and also this converging element of the civil rights movement becoming a mainstream movement. And so in 1965, for the Selma to Montgomery March, my father got on the train from D.C. and went down to Alabama to document the march. And what amazes me about my father's work is that his ability to have the courage to stand in front of a group of people and to take their photograph and yet capture something when we look at it that says something about the human condition. If I were to reference one photograph, his photograph of Dr. King and Coretta arriving in Montgomery and walking up Dexter Avenue is one of, I think, the most powerful images to come out of that march. I have not seen anything like it. I look at this photograph, and to imagine what I would have done or what any one of us would have done, standing there in front of that march, and to take that picture, there's an energy in it which is very moving and I think speaks volumes about what was happening that day. Other photographs he took in Montgomery, he would break away from the larger group and he would take photographs of children with their grandparents and kids on the side watching, and to show this is the future. This is what it's all about. This is what we're marching for. When King was assassinated in Memphis, it was a Thursday, and my father had photographed Dr. King in the pulpit of the National Cathedral on Sunday, just 4 days earlier. It was the last sermon that King gave in a church. It must have been an incredible shock to him, as it was to everybody, but to having just seen him at the cathedral in Washington and then to have this terrible tragedy happen 4 days later, my father got on a train and came to Atlanta for Dr. King's funeral. There were several photographs that he took, and it's interesting to me because the one that I think is the most powerful is one that I don't think he ever printed. And I came across that going through the archive and through his contact sheets, and I printed it myself. It's a high shot looking down at Dr. King's casket as it's being carried into the church. And it's framed in a way that what the eye is drawn to is the casket, but even more powerful is the hand on the shoulder of one of the pallbearers. It's a very gentle photograph, and it's very sad. But it's one that I don't think that my father ever printed. I've wondered about that, why he never did it. Maybe he didn't see it. He was absolutely committed to it. Lived and breathed photography, everything about it. He used to say that he would retire when he couldn't do that. And he, up until the very end of his life, he was taking photographs and always had a camera around his neck. I go through contact sheets from a protest march in 1968, or it can be the installation of a new bishop at the National Cathedral. And at the end of the last roll will always be photographs, family pictures, because he would shoot off the end of the roll when he'd get home. And so I have stacks of family photographs. He was always taking photographs, always taking pictures, and always had his camera with him. Never went anywhere without it, anywhere. It was always around his neck.